So when I was in high school, there was this kid named Waldo. He wore this red striped shirt, glasses, and an inverted Santa hat. He was really weird. Well, anyway, this guy would always go missing. We would be sitting in class, and the next thing you know, the teacher's asking, "Where's Waldo?" No one knew where he went. They would put the school on lockdown and look for him. They would check the bathrooms, the cafeteria, the gym. He was nowhere to be found. The whole town started looking for him. Missing posters all over the city, police helicopters, they checked the river. People started wondering if he got kidnapped. The police literally found 13 missing children while looking for Waldo. His parents were on the news crying and begging for Waldo to come home, and then after 6 months, the police ended the search and pronounced him dead. They had a funeral and everything. But then I was at the park and I saw him standing behind a tree. So when I was in high school, there was this kid named Stuck in a Cave Dave. He was always getting stuck in caves. He loved it. Every chance he got, he would go get stuck in a cave. It wasn't about cave diving for Dave. It was about getting stuck. He really loved it when the rescue workers had to come get him unstuck with their winches and drills. And every time they would pull him out, he would run right back in and get stuck. They would have to seal off every cave with cement after they rescued him just so he wouldn't go back in. But that didn't stop Dave. He would always go find a new cave to go get stuck in. Eventually, his parents locked him in his room and grounded him, but he would just wedge himself in between the mattress headboard and the wall just to get stuck. But one day when we were in class, Dave snuck out through the classroom window. And then he went to Nutty Putty Cave and he got stuck upside down 150 feet underground in this 10-inch wide hole. He was completely stuck. Rescue workers tried saving him for hours, and they even lowered a phone to him with a rope so he could talk to his family. But he ended up playing Angry Birds with his nose, and eventually they realized saving him wasn't worth it because he would just go get stuck somewhere else. So they sealed him up in the cave while he played Angry Birds. So when I was in high school, there was this kid named Tyler Tylenol, the son of the founders of Tylenol. I heard that when his mom was pregnant, she would eat Tylenol for every meal. And when he was a baby, his mom would bottle feed him Tylenol. And when he was having trouble sleeping, his mom would give him Tylenol PM every night. At school, Tyler Tylenol would bring a lunchbox full of Tylenol. He was socially awkward, but I was friends with him. He was really smart, and he would help me with my homework. When the fire alarm would go off, he would scream and run out of the classroom. I guess he was just really afraid of dying in a fire. I was actually on the wrestling team with Tyler Tylenol, and he was very strong. He fought our rival school's best wrestler, Andy Advil, who had his signature move, the Fever Reducer. But Tyler won with his extra strength pain reliever move. Tyler also won our school spelling bee by spelling the winning word, acetaminophen. So when I was in middle school, there was this kid named Rides the Bus Rudy, and he was always riding the bus. Even when we got to school, he just wouldn't get off the bus. He just stayed on and rode wherever. Every morning, he was in a new seat. And if someone said, "Hey, Rudy, you're in my seat," he'd put on his seatbelt and say, "I don't see your name on it," and he wouldn't move. He would also stand up in the aisle while the bus was moving, and the driver would stop the bus and say, "I'm not driving until everyone's sitting down. That means you, Rudy." She sounded like that because she smoked, you know? And then I'd be like, "Rudy, sit your ass down so we could go," but Rudy just wouldn't listen. Then, this one time, Rudy was leaning up against the emergency exit door in the back of the bus, and we went over a speed bump, and Rudy fell out of the bus, and he got hit by a car. He was roadkill Rudy after that. So I went to high school from 1990 to 1993 when there was this kid named Bill, and he was a huge Buffalo Bills fan. I'm talking diehard fan. And freshman year, he said the Buffalo Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. And I said, "No, they aren't. They fucking suck." Well, the Buffalo Bills actually made it to the Super Bowl, and Buffalo Bills said, "I told you they're going to win the Super Bowl." And I said, "No, they're going to lose." And the Buffalo Bills lost the Super Bowl. And I laughed so hard in Bill's stupid, ugly face. Then, sophomore year, the Buffalo Bills went back to the Super Bowl, and Buffalo Bills said, "This is our year, we're gonna win." And I said, "Nope, they suck ass, they're gonna lose," and the Buffalo Bills lost the Super Bowl again. I laughed even harder in Bill's face. Then, junior year, Bill was walking around saying, "I just know we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year, I can feel it." And I said, "Shut up, Bill, your team sucks ass." And the Buffalo Bills lost the Super Bowl for a third time in a row. So then, senior year comes around, and the Bills make it to another Super Bowl. And Bill's like, "No way my team loses 4 Super Bowls in a row." And I said, "Yeah, they will, because they suck so fucking bad." And guess what? The Buffalo Bills lost for a 4th time. The whole school was dying laughing, making fun of them. And Buffalo Bill said, "You know what? I'm gonna go kill fat women and wear their skin." And then he ran out of the school, and I said, yeah, your team fucking sucks."